Hello and welcome to week 4 in developmental psych. And this week we're going to be looking at chapter 4, early childhood development, which some of you're getting a whole degree in that. So this is really dovetailing with what you're learning in great detail in your other classes and its application to instruction to very young children. So we're going to be lots of crossover here. I hope that you're seeing some familiar concepts between this class and the other classes you are taking from Jessica and her team. So we have a discussion, a quiz, and an assignment. And of course the quest things that are going on. So the discussion, what I'm having you do is just simply examine some materials that I've included in the course book related to the current topic of trans and non-binary gender identity. Now, the reason I bring that up at this time in the time span, even though we may recognize that many of these issues come to fruition in later years, but this is the period of time during which young children begin to internalize through that assimilation and accommodation process that we talked about last week, the notion of gender roles. What does it mean to be a man or a woman? These things start to solidify at age 3. So if the individual has a different self-perception as to those that are being presented to them in the natural environment, these topics might come up. And so what I'm asking you to do is to not debate, not address the issue about what we should do, what we shouldn't do, those kinds of things. What I want you to do is actually demonstrate within the discussion your own process of assimilation and accommodation in regard to this topic. Many of you might know a lot about it. Some might not know anything about it. But what I should see in the discussion is, as you look at those resources and educate yourself as to the topic, what did you have to do that was new learning? And was there anything, it's really nice to explore, what did you have other thoughts of and now you have new thoughts? You've accommodated those concepts. And it'd be kind of a neat demonstration of those processes, which we've talked about in very early childhood, that they're actually lifelong. And so that's what that discussion is all about, to look at those resources, talk about what you've learned, talk about what you've had to accommodate for, and share your own knowledge and teach each other about those experiences that you've had. This is supposed to be a safe place. So we're not here to judge the right and wrong of anybody's personal experiences or their views on it. This is a sharing community, and we're all here to learn from each other. So I'm really hoping that the discussions, I don't have to tell you this, you've already been doing it, but when you have these kinds of issues where people can have very strong emotional feelings about them, just got to lay out the ground rules a little bit more clearly. Now we then move on to the quiz. And the quiz, I'm asking you to demonstrate to me your ability to recognize the concept of theory of mind. Now, this is a very, very critical time in a child's life. Theory of mind leads to other processes of compassion, perspective taking, all of those things that are very, very important in adult life. They all begin and are hinged upon theory of mind. This is a critical thinking question where I'm presenting you a story of Sally and Fido. Sally and Fido are playing in the living room. I'm going to paraphrase the story here. I'm not reading it right from the course book, but Sally and Fido are playing in the living room, running around, and Sally knocks over the lamp. It breaks. Mom comes rushing in. Sally and asks Sally what happened, and Sally pauses for a minute and says, Fido knocked down the lamp. Now, just based on that information, not knowing anything else, I know that Sally has theory of mind, that she has attained and is demonstrating that milestone in her cognitive development. You have to tell me why I know that. It's very clear, not really a very complex answer either. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to explain anything more because it'll give it away. So rock on that. The assignment for this week is interesting because for the first time and not the last, I'm asking you to do an assignment, one of our regular chapter assignments, but it involves the subject of your biography. So, a little clue on that. There's still about maybe 40% of you that have not submitted your biography proposal. This doesn't mean you don't have someone to talk to, but it may. And I'm a little concerned about that. So, I want you to take this time to look and make sure that you have someone for your biography. And part of that incentive is you have an assignment this week that involves that person. You're going to be looking at that individual. You're going to be looking at their adult life today. And you're going to be speculating based on the facts of their life today. How well do you think stage 1, 2, and 3 of Erikson's theory went? So you have trust, autonomy, and initiative. That means you need to get to know those 3 concepts, those 3 stages very well, and then speculate. Based on what you're seeing in adult, how might you think it went back when they were children? Now, these are not cause-effect relationships. Development is way too complex, and there's lots of things that happen between age 5 and age 65, 60 years of experience that might have produced what you see. But what would you, if that was the only information you had, looking at the person's life today, how do you think it went with those first 3? Again, that's sort of a critical thinking question where you're applying what you know. What were they supposed to learn, and how is it demonstrated in later adulthood? So that's the discussion, the quiz, and the assignment. Of course, the quests continue. We're in early childhood here, so you continue with those. I think almost everybody's in there now, I hope. There are some rough parts. If you're having trouble, make sure you get in touch with me. I'm also, just as a warning, I'm going to be sending out a little survey to everybody that's taking developmental psych right now, not only in this class, but the other sections. And I'm going to be asking you some questions about Quest. What I don't want, and I'll make this clear, if you've had trouble logging in, that's just a technical issue. I want to know whether this is a good learning tool or not. Are you enjoying it? Do you think that it's teaching you something? Is it making something more clear? Is it a neat aspect of the class? Or is it a pain? And I'm not really learning much from it. I really want to find that out. I need to make a decision for next year to whether I'm going to continue doing this or not. The signups have been a little bit of a pain, getting around that, figuring out what I need to give people. Next fall, it's supposed to be all automatic with the new way in which we're doing books. That we have this automated system of getting people their books. So it's supposed to be embedded in that system. That might clarify things. We'll see. So, chapter 4, get the quiz, discussion, and assignments done. That implies that you have a person for your biography. Make sure you get that proposal done. I'm going to be sending reminder emails through the week as to who hasn't done that yet. Keep up with the Quest and look for that survey regarding Quest and your personal experience with that. I value your opinion to help me make the decision as to whether I'm going to continue to have that as part of this class. So have a great week. Make sure you take some break time. It's supposed to be really nice. I personally have a little vacation coming up here in the weekend, heading down to Bar Harbor for a few days, and not band related, just beach related. So that's hopefully the weather cooperates. But make sure that you take time this summer to enjoy our beautiful weather here in Maine, and I will see you in the discussion boards. You take care.